Ola! Chuses! Como xa dixen no último vídeo, hoxe vou comezar unha serie sobre colonialismo lingüístico. E estarei tratando o caso específico de Italia. Porca latana da tua mamma la porca! E para axudarme a dar datos verídicos, estarei falando co Andrea nun momento, un italiano de verdade. Como xa sabedes, Italia é un país que se reunificou no 1861, a excepción do Südtirol, que pertencía ao Imperio Austrohúngaro e anexionouse dun xeito bastante problemático no 1920 e pico a Italia, aínda sendo a inmensa maioría da súa poboación étnicamente austríaca. Este país pasou por un proceso de creación e estandarización do que hoxe conocemos como italiano bastante complicado. Hoxe en día, a pesar de ser a lingua nacional do Estado e estando baseada nas linguas faladas en Florencia, non se corresponde fidedignamente con ningunha das linguas ou dialectos falados anteriormente nesa zona, nin con ningunha das que se falaba antes da reunificación. Sí, o italiano é unha lingua de laboratorio, como a todas. Hoxe en día xa é a lingua nativa de moita xente, con todas as súas diferencias dialectais e coa influencia de todas as linguas regionais. Obviamente, hoxe en día séguense a falar outras moitas linguas, como o veneciano, o napolitano, o trentino, o alemán, entre outras tantas. Mais, case ningunha ten status oficial e case ningunha é estudada na educación pública. Sen máis preámbulo, damoslle a benvida ao vasto e inmenso coñecemento do señor Andrea. God bless as two meetings desas.
Gut. Sollen wir das auf Englisch machen, oder? Ja, besser.
Ja, Englisch. Englisch ist besser.
Gut, besser Englisch. Oder auf Spanisch. Kannst du Spanisch?
Ja, klar. Sí,
Ja.
claro.
Sí, claro.
También podemos hablar español.
¡Guau, qué asco! Habla español.
Me llamo Andrea, soy italiano, pero también hablo también español porque es un idioma que me gusta muchísimo.
So we are here with Andrea. Andrea is your name, right?
Yeah, Andrea.
He will be talking about some Italian stuff.
Hello, everybody. My name is Andrea. I come from Italy, and more specifically from, be more precise, Trentino, Südtirol. My first language is Italian. I also speak another language, which is Trentino dialect. If you don't know anything about Trentino dialect, just check this video. And there is also this very interesting Instagram account, which is called Instrabouts. We speak a lot about the different languages spoken in the Trentino area. So I have a degree in Russian language, so I speak Russian. I speak Spanish. I speak German, which is the second official language in my region. Yeah, English, as you can hear. And also I have a very low competence in Serbian and Croatian.
Can you talk a little bit about what a dialect in Italy means?
I will start from this point, what people think a dialect is in Italy. The biggest problem in Italy is that we don't have any social linguistical education. So most of people don't really know what a dialect is. Most of Italians think that a dialect is a poorer version of Italian language. A dialect is not a variety of the Italian language. A dialect is a different language. This is quite different from the situation in the English-speaking areas where dialects are seen as varieties. Sometimes some Italian dialects are so different from standard Italian. So Northern Italian languages, dialects are much more similar to French, Spanish, and Catalan than to Italian sometimes. The reason why many Italians don't know about the history of the Italian language and of the Italian languages is that we don't have social linguistic education in school. We are not taught anything about that. We are just taught standard Italian, and we're just taught that this is the right way to speak. And so when Italy was unified in 1861, like only 2.5% of the population spoke Italian as a native language. What did the other people speak? Their own dialects. We can speak about dialects and regional languages like as a synonym. So for example, Veneziano, Genovese, Napoletano, and Siciliano were used for centuries. So Veneziano was the official language of the Republic of Venice and was also used by traders. Also Genovese. When Italy was unified, we needed to find a way to understand each other. There is this very famous say, which is in Italian, abbiamo fatto l'Italia, adesso dobbiamo fare gli italiani. We have made Italy, now we have to make Italians. Like Italian was seen by most families as a very powerful economical instrument. In many areas, dialects started to be seen in a very, very negative way. So this applies in particular to areas such as Lombardy, Lombardia, Piemonte, where we had the most immigrants for all the other Italian areas, not only from the south. You are a person with a very narrow Weltanschauung, so vision of the world. So you can only speak the language of your small village. This is a very negative aspect which still affects a lot the perception of dialects. So there is this very famous say of Max Weinreich, no, a language is a dialect with an army and navy, a dialect which became more powerful than all the other surrounding dialects. So basically, the dialect of Florence was the language used by Dante, Petrarca, but in particular by Dante, which the Divina Commedia, the most important masterpiece in Italian language. The Italian of Dante was chosen as the language of Italians, and this language was used during the centuries only by well-educated people. This also explains why Italian, more similar to Latin than other Romance languages, such as, for example, French. Italian is way more conservative than other Romance languages because for centuries, no one spoke it. So Italian really started to develop as a spoken language only 60, 70 years ago. Yes, sorry, I'm very eloquent.
No, it's okay.
The other thing I wanted to say is that when I went for the first time to Spain, I was amazed that in Galicia, for example, everything is written in Galician. This was so beautiful. Like I was thinking, okay, I'm going to Venice now, and everything is written just in Veneziano. That would be like a dream. That would be so beautiful. I think it's really beautiful. You're beautiful. Like politicians speak in the regional language, and
so.
We are starting to talk a lot about Italian dialects. So we are developing a regional conscience. But the problem is that for many decades, the theme about the Italian dialects was only used by part of the Italian political context. The representatives of Lega Nord talk quite a lot about dialects, about how dialects are important, about how we have to develop them, to teach them in schools, in the villages in northern Italy where you have a government formed by Lega Nord. You usually have like the sign at the entrance of the village. You have the sign in Italian and then in dialect. They did speak a lot about it, but not with the cultural and social linguistical interests. This was just in order to underline northern Italy is not like Italy. They have been for many years separatists. Now they are supranational. Like Lega now is supranationalist, but for many years they have been separatists. So speaking about dialect sometimes is a real taboo. So if you are speaking about dialects, so automatically you are a far right person. So a lot of young people are rediscovering these languages. Even people that don't speak these languages, most of the times these people don't have, these young people don't have an active competence in these languages. They have a passive competence. They understand the dialects. They have a very deep knowledge about the morphology, the phonetics of this language, the history of this language. So we don't speak it, but we speak about it. We do speak about it a lot. And I think that's also really interesting from a social linguistical point of view. So we cannot say that dialects are dying. They are not dying because a lot of people still speak them. These people are dying, but...
So we can move on to the third.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. Are Italian dialects studied in primary school or higher levels as university or stuff?
They are not studied primary school, in primary, middle, and high school, we are not taught anything about them, almost anything about the history of the Italian language. We are taught something, but just, yeah, Italian comes from the dialect of Florence, and that's it.
It's also like the one in the middle of Italy, but it should be like the one related kind of to the north and to the south, because
if Dante had been from Sicily, now we would speak Sicilian. If he had been from, yeah, yeah, because this was the most prestigious one in terms of literature. Sicily, if he had been from Milano, we would speak Milanese nowadays. This doesn't apply when we are talking about regional languages that are recognized by the Italian government, such as Latin or Friulano. You can study them at school. In primary school, it's a compulsory subject, or even they do everything in Ladino, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure about this.
That's extra.
Ladins are they have a very strong identity. Also, Italian and Trentino speaking people. I also feel this like Central European identity that encounters Southern European one in our area. Wir sind
Fühlst du dich als Südländer?
Ich fühle mich als Mitteleuropäer.
Ach so, wie die Deutsche.
Ja. Nee, also eine Mischung aus, so eine Mischung aus mitteleuropäischen Aspekten und südländischen Aspekten. At university, yeah, if you like, no, of course it's not possible to attend a course in Latin. In my area, there are some university courses held in Latin about Latin language, Latin history and culture. I think I read something about this, they introduced Sardinian language in some universities in Sardinia, or just in one university in Cagliari. That would piss me off so much.
Motherfucker, ignorant. You don't want to make any fucking effort in learning the language of the place you are.
Yeah, because like people fought a lot in order to have Galician taught in universities, and now like you cannot do it because, yeah.
What is the general consideration of Italian dialects? Do people try to maintain them? I heard that some, like Venetian, are still widely spoken, but most of them are going extinct.
Yeah, well, I think we already discussed this a lot, but what I can say is, so Central Italian dialects are very similar to Italian because Standard Italian comes from there. In Tuscany, they do have a very strong regional accent. A lot of people from this area would tell you, "Oh, I speak the real Italian." No, you don't speak the real Italian.
Yeah,
the standardized Italian is completely different from how you speak. What was interesting for me, I watched the video about Corso, about lingua corsa. They also speak it with like some people did speak it with a very strong French accent. That sounded so strange for me, like to hear a Tuscan dialect, because Corso and Toscano are very close. So I could recognize a very clear Italian structure, with French phonetics.
Yeah, because like in español, bueno, en gallego, normalmente en gallego la gente dice que hablas, en plan, hablar gallego cerrado o hablar gallego abierto. Refiriéndose a hablar gallego abierto, hablar gallego con acento español. Y hablar gallego cerrado es hablar gallego con las trazas dialectales de tu propia zona.
Sí, yes, like we don't say aperto chiuso, we say stretto, dialetto stretto, parlare dialetto stretto, narrow. So narrow, you're speaking narrow dialect, and yeah, so we usually say, oh my god, this dialect is so narrow. So questo dialetto è così stretto, parla proprio dialetto stretto.
Only two more left, and we have. Can you speak about the Südtirol problematics with the German-speaking population during the Mussolini regime, and how this still affects the local population or names?
They don't speak German, so they don't speak Hochdeutsch.
Yeah, sure.
They speak Tiroler. So Tirolerisch, in the history the process of Germanization of Roman-speaking people, and they were Germanized. This is also quite complicated. But yes, let's speak about now the situation nowadays. There is a linguistic continuum between Südtirol and Tyrol and Austria and Bayern, Bavaria. Of course, during Mussolini era, they tried, of course, to Italianize the area. They look at Austria as their nation, even if they have Italian passport. German-speaking people from that area go to university. They would go in Innsbruck, in Wien, or in München, usually. So the province of Bolzano is mainly German-speaking, so 70% of people speaking German, but most of people there speak Italian, because during Mussolini era, they tried to Italianize the area, sending Italian people from other areas to colonize. It was forbidden to speak German. It was forbidden to teach German. Secret schools to teach the German language. They changed the names of places. They tried also to change surnames. I have a friend whose surname is Costa, but used to be Kostner. So from Kostner to Costa. My surname was not Italianized. That's quite interesting. But what they did do was there was this guy, Ettore Tolomei, he was from Trentino. He was Mussolini's friend, and he had this horrible task. He translated all the names of places from German into Italian. So there is, for example, this village Sterzing, which is called nowadays in Italian Vipiteno. So he went and found the ancient Latin toponym, which was something maybe like Vipitenum. And so Vipiteno, so you have Sterzing / Vipiteno. Mussolini and Hitler found a compromise, and this compromise is historically known as the options. German-speaking people living in Italy were given the opportunity to choose whether to remain in Italy, but to forget. If they wanted to remain in Italy, they had to forget about their culture and their language. If they wanted to keep their language, they had the option, and this is why the historical fact is called the options. They had the option to move to Germany. Most of German-speaking people in Trentino and Südtirol, so also these people speaking Bersentollerisch and Simba in Trentino, were affected by these options. So they chose to move to Germany. A lot of them died there. What's interesting is that after the end of the war, most of them came back. And of course, they fought a lot for the recognition German as official language, together with Italian and also with Ladino. It's not really nice. What's still complicated is the situation about toponyms. So all these names were changed during the fascist era. So it's okay to call Bozen Bolzano. Also because historically it was called also Bolzano. It's normal to have Tramin und Termeno. It's okay to have Aua and Ora. You have Italian and German-speaking people living there. But if you have this village, Schlanders, where 99% of people are German-speaking people, they only speak German there. Why do you have to call it cilantro? This cilantro was invented by a fascist guy in order to Italianize this area. So why the fuck are you calling this place cilantro? If they are not related to the actual presence of Italian-speaking people, they should be erased, because they are just the sign of Italian colonization. Well, the Italian effort to colonize these areas.
The more you learn about how colonization works and how cultural colonization works, more cases around the world, you see that the methods and the techniques to achieve that, to achieve a standard culture, a standard territory, a standard identity of people, they are all the same. They always use the same systems and stuff.
Okay. Are we done?
No, there's one more.
Oh no.
Do you have anything you want to add on top of 3 hours of speaking?
I don't think so.
Well,
Follow me about.
Do you want to promote yourself? Do you want people to know where you are on Instagram, the things that you do?
Yes, you can also follow me on Instagram. I am Dererum Verdura. Too strange. So yeah, you can follow me Dererum Verdura. I don't post things about languages, but mostly about nature.
Beautiful pictures. Oh my gosh, so beautiful.
Beautiful picture about the beautiful nature of Trentino. But you told me, pero vale, tú me has dicho que no había problemas, que podía hablar cuanto que podía hablar cuanto quería, y yo he hablado, no sé, 3 horas. Pero ha sido interesante.
Sí, interesante. Enriquecedor, enriquecedor.
Yo nunca lo hablo y me gustaría hablarlo un poco más. Así que voy a escribirte solo en español.
Ekelhaft, ich will das nicht. Bitte schreib nicht mehr auf Spanish.
Mira, tú me escribes en alemán, que también para mí es el idioma colonial, porque mi gente hablaba trentino, hablaba italiano, y los padrones hablaban alemán. Así que es el idioma colonial para mí. Y tú me estás hablando el idioma de los que trataron a mi gente como esclavos. Y no me gusta. Así que yo también voy a hablarte español.
Espero que os parecerá interesante e ameno con este señor, chámase Andrea Zoller, pero está acompañado por mí. Bueno, vémonos noutro capítulo disto que vamos estar falando sobre colonialismo lingüístico noutro estado, noutro sitio. Ala, abúrese, cívicos, chao. Abur.
My being Italian is completely different to the being Italian of a person from another region, in particular from a southern region, and we are aware of that. We are really aware of that, but we are not aware of the fact that this also affects languages. I'm really proud of what I've said.
Well, now I'm gonna delete it.
Are we done?
No, I was kidding. I'm also very proud of my way of not being Spanish, because that's what language at the end of the day makes. They make nation.